Everyone thought Canada would play it safe. The plan was simple, almost boring. Buy the F-35, follow Washington's lead, and keep things predictable. It's the choice that made sense on paper. Trusted, tested, and perfectly aligned with decades of North American defense cooperation. There were no surprises expected, no headlines screaming global disruption, just a quiet nod to the status quo. But then, Sweden stepped in, and suddenly the entire script changed. Out of nowhere, a move so bold appeared on the table that it sent shockwaves through analysts, military planners, and policy circles worldwide. This wasn't about buying a handful of jets to fill a gap. Sweden wasn't offering 12. They weren't even offering 24. They were offering something industrial, massive, and transformative. A deal that could let Canada build, maintain, and control an entire fleet domestically. Imagine expecting a small ripple in a calm pond, and instead a tsunami hits the shore. That's what happened here. Analysts who had been confidently projecting Canada's path were suddenly scrambling. Washington, long used to quietly steering Canadian defense choices, was caught completely off guard. And for good reason. If Canada accepted Sweden's offer, the F-35's dominance in NATO, long thought unshakable, would suddenly face serious cracks. This is the story of a single, unexpected move that could redefine not just Canada's fighter jets, but its industrial independence, its strategic role in North America, and the balance of air power across the world. And it all began with Sweden dropping a bombshell no one saw coming. To understand why Sweden's move was such a shock, we need to look at Canada's traditional path. For decades, Canada has been closely aligned with the United States when it comes to defense. The F-35 wasn't just a plane, it was part of a bigger system: NORAD, NATO, and decades of integrated air defense. Choosing anything else wasn't just unusual, it would have been almost unthinkable. Think of it like a perfectly choreographed dance. Canada's jets, radar systems, and command networks are all designed to move in sync with the U.S. military planners have relied on this system for decades. Switching to something different would be like suddenly changing the music in the middle of the dance. Everyone would have to relearn their steps. There were other pressures too. Politically, the F-35 aligned Canada with its closest ally, maintaining trust and influence in North America. Economically, the F-35 had already been factored into long-term budgets, training programs, and maintenance plans. And from an operational perspective, using American systems meant proven interoperability. Pilots and engineers already knew the technology, and supply chains were established. In short, Canada was expected to take the safe road. Buy the F-35, integrate seamlessly with the U.S., and keep NATO happy. It was predictable, low risk, and, until now, almost guaranteed. But the stage was set for a surprise. A move that didn't just challenge one decision, but threatened to shake the very assumptions that had guided Canadian defense for decades. And that's where Sweden's offer comes in. A plan that didn't just break the mold, it shattered it. Then came Sweden's move, and suddenly the predictable world of Canadian defense planning tilted on its axis. Sweden didn't just send a brochure or a price quote. They offered Canada something far bigger, the chance to build, maintain, and control an entire fleet of Gripen E fighters right at home. Think about that for a second. Most fighter jet deals are simple. A country buys planes, maybe gets some training, and that's it. But Sweden's proposal was industrial, strategic, and transformational. Canada wouldn't just own the jets. They could produce them, perform all maintenance domestically, and control upgrades without relying on foreign restrictions. It was like not just buying a car, but being given the factory, the design, and the keys to run it however you want. The implications were immediate and enormous. For analysts, it was a bombshell. For Washington, it was a quiet panic. Suddenly, the F-35's monopoly in North America and NATO was no longer guaranteed. A Canadian-built Gripen could shift influence, create a hub for Western Hemisphere defense independence, and even make other countries start asking tough questions about their own expensive F-35 programs. Globally, the buzz was intense. Military experts debated how this could change air power in the Arctic, NATO's operational control, and the balance of forces with Russia and China watching closely. It wasn't just about jets. It was a bold strategic offer that combined technology, industry, and sovereignty in a way the U.S. rarely allows for its allies. Sweden had done the unexpected. They hadn't just sold a fighter, they had created a new game entirely. And now, Canada faced a choice that could redefine its place in the world. So why would Canada even consider saying yes to Sweden's bold offer? Let's break it down. There are three reasons that make this deal uniquely compelling. First, it's about allies and independence. Canada would become a key North American partner with its own defense options. Instead of relying entirely on U.S.-controlled systems, Canada could chart a more independent path while still contributing to continental security. Picture it like having your own branch of a huge company. Canada gets to make decisions, run operations, and control its own fleet without constantly asking permission. For a country with huge territory and Arctic responsibilities, this level of autonomy is a real game changer. Second, the Gripen E is tailor-made for Canada's harsh, remote, and unpredictable environment. It can operate from highways, frozen airstrips, northern bases, and small hangars, places where bigger jets like the F-35 struggle. Imagine trying to land a sports car on an icy dirt road versus a rugged SUV designed for those conditions. That's the difference here. For northern patrols, Arctic sovereignty missions, and rapid response across massive distances, the Gripen E is built to thrive where other jets would honestly just falter. Third, the industrial package is enormous. Canada wouldn't just buy jets, they'd get jobs, aerospace technology transfers, and the ability to maintain and upgrade the fleet domestically. It's a chance to revive Canada's aerospace industry and build expertise that could last for decades. Instead of being a buyer, Canada becomes a producer, creating a long-term economic and strategic foundation that the U.S. rarely offers to its allies. Combined, these three reasons make Sweden's offer more than attractive. It's transformative. Strategic freedom, operational advantage, and industrial growth. For Canada, this isn't just a purchase. It's a chance to take control of its defense future. While Canada sees opportunity, Washington is quietly tense. This isn't just about fighter jets. It's about influence, control, and honestly, the balance of power in North America. The United States has long relied on allies like Canada to operate in lockstep. NORAD, NATO, and integrated air defense systems are all built on the assumption that aircraft, maintenance, and data flow through American-controlled networks. Sweden's Gripen offer threatens all of that. Problem 1. NORAD's dual fleet. If Canada adopts the Gripen, NORAD would no longer be a single fleet system dominated by American planes. Suddenly you have a dual fleet, some jets US-made, some jets Canadian-built. That, well, complicates planning, operations, and command. Imagine trying to coordinate a symphony with half the instruments suddenly replaced with a completely different set. You can still play the music, but it's harder, slower, and riskier. Problem 2. The domino effect in NATO. The Gripen deal also sends a signal across Europe. If Canada can successfully integrate a non-US fighter, other NATO countries may start questioning the cost and dependency of the F-35. Countries like the Netherlands, Denmark, Belgium, Finland, or Spain could reconsider future American aircraft purchases. What was once an unquestioned global standard could suddenly look expensive, restrictive, or strategically limiting. Problem 3. North American aerospace dominance. Finally, the U.S. sees a competitor forming right on its doorstep. A Canadian-built Gripen hub, handling production, training, maintenance, and upgrades, would shift power in the Western Hemisphere. It's not just about planes, it's about industrial and strategic influence. The U.S. risks losing some control over the aerospace market and, by extension, a piece of its global military dominance. In short, what looks like a simple purchase for Canada is a geopolitical chess move for Washington. The stakes go far beyond cost. They touch control, influence, and the future of continental defense. And that tension honestly sets the stage for why the Gripen E itself is such a technically smart choice. Now let's look at why the Gripen E isn't just strategically smart, it's technically impressive. For Canada, it's not enough that a jet is independent or cheap to maintain. It also has to perform in extreme environments and deliver real battlefield advantages. And the Gripen E delivers on all fronts. IRST sensors, seeing stealth. First, it has advanced IRST sensors, infrared search and track, that can detect stealth aircraft. While the F-35 relies heavily on radar, the Gripen can track threats that are otherwise designed to be invisible. It's kind of like having night vision in a room full of invisible people. For Canada, whose northern borders and Arctic approaches are vast and often remote, that capability is priceless. Electronic warfare, disrupting the enemy. Next, the Gripen E is an electronic warfare powerhouse. Its systems can jam enemy sensors, including those on F-35s. Imagine your car being able to make all nearby self-driving cars stop or swerve just by turning on a device. It sounds like science fiction, but in air combat, it's a massive tactical advantage. Meteor missiles, striking farther. The Gripen carries Meteor missiles with 3 times the beyond visual range of the F-35. That means it can engage threats from far outside the enemy's reach. For a country like Canada, where air bases are spread out and distances are enormous, striking first and striking from afar can make all the difference in defending sovereignty. Supercruise and rapid scramble. It also has supercruise capability, sustained supersonic flight without afterburners, and can scramble from cold start in just 10 minutes. That's critical in the Arctic, where weather can change in minutes, and quick response times are essential for patrols or intercepts. Low maintenance costs, smart economics. And unlike the F-35, the Gripen E has low maintenance costs, around 1/4 of the F-35's. It's cheaper to keep flying, easier to maintain in remote bases, and less likely to be grounded due to technical issues. In short, the Gripen E isn't just cheaper or independent, it's smart, adaptable, and deadly efficient. For Canada's unique geography, long Arctic patrols, and need for cost-effective sovereignty protection, it's not just a good alternative, it might be the better choice. Sweden's Gripen offer isn't just a Canadian story, it's a global shockwave. Every choice Canada makes sends signals far beyond its borders, and this one could really redefine air power, alliances, and strategic balance worldwide. NATO diversification. First, consider NATO. If Canada buys Gripen, it introduces a major non-US fighter into an alliance long dominated by the F-35. That's not just a technical detail. It changes the way countries think about interoperability, costs, and dependency. Suddenly, other NATO members may start questioning whether sticking exclusively with the F-35 is really the best long-term strategy. Canada's move could inspire a ripple effect across Europe, pushing allies to explore alternatives and demand more independence. Arctic and Russian calculations. Next, think about geography. Canada's northern approaches directly face Russian airspace. Gripen's Arctic-ready capabilities make Canada a far more resilient force in the region. Russia is undoubtedly taking note. A northern Canadian fleet capable of rapid response, long patrols, and advanced sensor coverage changes the strategic calculations for Arctic air operations. It's a subtle but meaningful shift in the balance of power. Signals to China and global powers. And then there's the wider geopolitical signal. China, observing U.S. allies successfully diversifying their defense portfolios, sees cracks in what was assumed to be an unchallenged American technological monopoly. The Gripen deal sends a clear message. Even U.S. dominance isn't absolute, and smart strategic partnerships can create new options, industrial and strategic influence. Finally, a Canadian-built Gripen hub could become a center for training, maintenance, and upgrades, not just for Canada, but potentially for other countries in the Western Hemisphere. That's industrial influence, strategic autonomy, and economic power all rolled into one. For the US, this is not just a competitor in the sky. It's a competitor in the factory, in the strategy room, and in the global defense market. The ripple effect is clear. This isn't just about a single fleet of jets. It's about shifting alliances, recalibrating global power dynamics, and signaling to the world that traditional assumptions can be challenged. One decision in Ottawa could echo across continents and oceans. Canada was expected to make the safe, predictable choice. Buy the F-35, stay in Washington's fold, and continue along a well-trodden path. But Sweden's stunning Gripen offer changed everything. This isn't just a fighter jet. It's a potential shift in alliances, a challenge to American dominance, and a chance for Canada to reclaim control over its own aerospace future. Think about it. Strategic independence, Arctic-ready capabilities, industrial revival, and a platform that could inspire other countries to reconsider expensive, restrictive options. Every aspect of this decision has consequences: political, economic, and military. Not just for Canada, but for NATO, Russia, China, and the broader global balance of power. The real question now is simple, but profound. Which path will Canada choose? The safe, predictable road where influence remains largely American-controlled, or a bold new future, where Canada takes the reins of its own defense, builds industrial capacity, and reshapes air power in the Western Hemisphere? One thing is certain: the world is watching. Analysts, allies, and adversaries alike are counting the days until Ottawa makes its move. And when that choice comes, it won't just be a purchase decision. It will be a statement about sovereignty, strategy, and the future of global air power. So, keep your eyes on Canada, because whichever way the scale tips, the next chapter of air defense and global influence is about to be written, and it might just start with the Gripen.